Built between 1833 and 1854, the trio of Redmire Reservoirs sit in a quiet, beautiful, picturesque location just between Redmire Reservoir and also Sheffield. Now, the Plughole or overspill we're going to look at today, I should point out the flow of water going into it is coming from the diversion from the Rivelin Brook, which comes from Oaking Clough Reservoir, that really tiny one right in the top left of the screen. So there won't be a sudden deluge of water coming into it from the reservoir, as the Plughole captures water from the actual watercourse coming in, not from the reservoir. And also, just to give an idea where we are, you can see the Rivelin dams and reservoirs at the very top of the A57 Manchester Road. And also something for a future walk and possible explore is the Redmires conduit. You can see that on the right hand side heading off towards Sheffield. I think that might be worth a look at on a later video. So in addition to the reservoirs being built between 1833 and 1854, you've got a feed coming from the Rivelin Brook, and that goes all the way up there. Now this has been man-made, like a diversion which goes up towards the main course of where the spooky house is that we've seen before. It's an old waterworks building. There's a little dam up there too. I'll try and put a picture on. But of course, there we are. There is the Plughole or the overspill at the top of the main reservoir that you can just see poking out just there. Doesn't drop very far, about the height, I'd say, of a double-decker bus. It'll take you around the other side. Now the water is barely dropping today, which is fantastic, because I wanted to give a bit of a different perspective. When we had a look inside this a couple of weeks ago, it was really gushing over. It was an absolute sight to be seen. But now, we'll go and have another look inside with just this gentle trickle. It should allow us to have a look at some of the stonework inside. I think it's time to actually just get down there and do this thing. Let's get inside the Plughole. So immediately we're greeted with this beautiful stone opening. Look, it's going to go into a concrete pipeline if I shine a torch in there to begin with, for quite a large section. So that's not going to be the original route. I imagine it was just as the opening is. So there is going to be footage from two different visits. You'll see greater amounts of water flow at times, and that will allow us to do a nice little comparison of what it's like when it's really going for it and when it's not. Now I don't know if you can hear me, but there are quite a lot of spiders in here. The water is pretty tame, and I can see the water falling ahead. It's absolutely surreal. So as you can see, it is really, really noisy now. This is where the concrete section turns into red brick, and we can see the water dropping ahead of us. There's not as much coming down as there was on my previous visit, but I think you still get quite wet going in there. Let's move forward into the brick section.
how well you can hear me, but you can see there's a concrete roof section all the way along, and it's a red brick sidewall. If you turn you around, you can see where I've just come from. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? I'll keep pushing forward, and we'll get towards South Plughole. And I will again swap between footage from a couple of weeks ago and from today. What it looks like. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 different layers coming down, and that's stonework bringing the water down to the bottom. That's what it looks like just as it goes into the voluminous down below. I'm really pleased I managed to come back and have another look at this, and I hope the sound's picking up alright from my voice. And it's such a beautiful day. And what I do find funny and curious is that the water seems to increase and then drop off and then increase as if someone's turning on a huge tap at the top. I had to stand in the middle for a little bit and wait for it to die down again before I came back through without getting too wet. That was absolutely extraordinary. Something I've had on my radar for a good number of months. I do hope you enjoyed this video looking at Redmire Reservoir and also into the Plughole. Now we know exactly what's inside. It's absolutely beautiful. Brilliant on a really warm day like it has been today. Thank you very much. Look at me. It was definitely worth it. See you in the next one.